And happening now, we start with the fallout of all of last night's storms, where a few hundred people in and around Albuquerque are waking up without power this morning.
Yeah, and the rest of us are drying out after the Duke City got quite the downpour overnight, and our cameras caught a lot of the chaos. News 13's David Romero is live in Northwest Albuquerque. Good morning, David. How's it looking out there?
Good morning, Elizabeth. Well, Albuquerque streets are trying to still dry out from the mess of the water and the mud left behind. Take a look behind me right now. We are at Unser and Lava Bluff on the west side. You can see what a big puddle this is. Luckily, nobody has to drive through this particular part of an exit here on Unser because it's still under construction, but trust me, there are still a lot of other roads around town that look the same. Now, the rain caused some big problems with power outages, as mentioned, and of course, flooded roads. Now, of course, near Paseo del Norte last night around 7:30, drivers dealt with dark streetlights, flashing traffic signals, and that caused a lot of backups. Now, the storm was so intense on Coors, a giant pool of water formed. It was deep enough to flood the engine of a Mini Cooper that you should be seeing on your screen right now.
Oh, the storm definitely caught me off guard, I mean, half an hour ago it was, pretty decent, a couple of clouds in the sunset, but nothing like this. And then all of a sudden it was just pouring cats and dogs, basically.
Yeah. Well, cats and dogs are what we've been hoping for, and as far as downpours have been concerned, in the past couple of months we got it, and of course now with the flooding, or with a lot of heavy rains comes the flooding. So Albuquerque Fire and Bernalillo County Fire Departments are giving away free sandbags to help residents kind of stave off that water from getting into their homes if it's necessary. Back to you.
All right, that's good to know, David. Thank you. Right now, PNM says hundreds of residents are still without power throughout different parts of the city. We still do not know when the power will fully be restored, but of course we will keep you posted on that.
Well, the rain drenched other parts of New Mexico as well. Take a look at Maxwell here in the northern part of the state. You can see the river bulging. And then there are these construction trucks. They were parked in the middle of a field. They're now stranded in what looks like a small pond, all thanks to some heavy rain up there. Then just north of this area in Colfax County, the rain also made a pond out of this field. We'd like to thank you for sending in all these pictures. If you have some of the rain or what it left behind, we'd love to see them too. Email them to us at reportit@krqe.com.
Well, let's check back in with meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke. Kristen, you said no rain right now in Albuquerque, but others in New Mexico are getting rain.
Yeah, we're seeing some rain out across eastern New Mexico this morning, and the one thing to keep in mind is even though the focus is there this morning, when we get our heavy stuff later on this afternoon, the focus is going to shift to central and western New Mexico for today, and we have flash flood watches in effect because of that. It starts at 9 a.m. this morning and goes until the evening. It is going to be a very wet weather pattern over the next few days, so that is something to keep in mind. Yesterday, just a precursor to the main event that's going to be happening for the first half of this week. Flooding will be a big concern. We'll also have that potential for more gusty winds too from the east, especially for the metro area. The winds really funneling through those canyons and picking up some momentum there. That will be later on this afternoon, but right now most of the showers again across eastern New Mexico. There is the possibility that some of that could clip the metro area this morning as it does head to the south and west, but most of it's going to stay out to the east and then eventually fizzle out over the next couple of hours. Sangre de Cristo Mountains seeing some shower activity out east on I-40, light to moderate rain there. Fort Sumner down to Roswell getting a little bit wet. So again, most of that to the east of Albuquerque, but later today the focus shifting to central and western portions of the state. I'll have a breakdown on what you can expect coming up in a little bit.
And be sure to stay with KRQE for the very latest on the storms and monsoon season. You can also go online for the latest weather information anytime at krqe.com. Well, we are waiting to hear on Albuquerque Mayor R.J. Berry and his announcement of the reopening of the bosque. The bosque has been partially closed since June because of the high fire danger. The trails have been open to the public, and we have had some good rain in the Duke City recently, including last night, as you know. Mayor Berry tells News 13 that the bosque will reopen sometime this week.
Well, the latest news about the massive jet fuel spill at Kirtland Air Force Base is good. None of that fuel has reached Albuquerque's drinking water, and the vapors from it are probably not dangerous. So that's what a team of scientists from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are now saying. The Air Force discovered the huge fuel spill back in 1999, where as much as 24 million gallons of jet fuel leaked into the ground and is slowly moving towards some of the city's wells. The government's now working on a way to clean up that mess. Well, one of New Mexico's Native American tribes is looking for a new leader this morning. The president of the Mescalero Apache tribe in the southern part of the state has resigned. Frederick Chino Sr. had been in charge of the tribe for about a year and a half now, and he's not saying why he called it quits. One of the Mescaleros Apaches council members, Alfred La Paz, is acting as president until the tribe finds a permanent president.
The number of federal public defenders in New Mexico could soon decline because of budget cuts in the coming year. The Santa Fe New Mexican reports it could lead to the layoff of as many as 15 lawyers and other staff in New Mexico. The paper reports the agency already has unfilled vacancies due to the automatic federal budget cuts known as sequestration. Training money has also been eliminated, and so far, staff has had to take 8 days of unpaid leave. Well, there is another horrible case of animal abuse in New Mexico to tell you about.
And sadly, this time it's coming from Santa Fe County. However, there is some good news, though. This story should have a happy ending. Someone picked up this puppy after she was found wandering the streets with her throat cut. The little girl went through surgeries. You can see she's playing. She's doing better. Shelter workers say what happened is something they see far too often. Someone put an extremely tight collar on the little girl, and she grew out of it with the collar still there. In fact, it was so tight, pieces of it had to be surgically removed.
No matter what her injury, it didn't bother her. It doesn't faze her, and that's a great thing about dogs. They just have this ability to just rebound no matter what it is.
Again, the little girl is doing better. She should be up for adoption within the next few weeks. Well, the Duke City's newest football stadium won't open until late next month, but it's already getting some pretty good reviews. APS's leaders are telling the Albuquerque Journal that the new community stadium here will be one of the premier places for pigskin and other events in the whole state. All right, this is the stadium. It's near the west side, near I-40 and 98th. It seats 7,500 fans. Here's some video of it during construction. Has state-of-the-art locker rooms and great views from the seats. This season's football games kick off the end of next month. Looks pretty nice. Can't wait for football season personally.
I know it.
All right, high school kids are going to love that. 5:08 right